Good morning, guys. It's Friday, the 18th of February 2022. Welcome to FYI. I'm Doretta Finance with you. Also,
Sherrod.
Sharon Duncan.
Sherrod. I was somewhere yesterday and the guy was saying, Sherrod, and I know what he was talking about. He was saying, morning, Sherrod. I mean, Sherrod. I said, you got it right. You got it right. Yep. Welcome.
Well,
Welcome to FYI.
it's Friday, and as we say, thank God it's Friday, TGIF. And I know
Thank God.
everyone will be just running off to a very exciting weekend. Sharon does this thing. We're all running off to a very good weekend, a lot planned. I know for myself, I don't know about you, how you're going to spend this weekend, Sharon.
I'm just going to spend it meditating, some quiet time, absorbing. Yep. In my own way, just be quiet, just being quiet and listening to my thoughts. The week is very hectic, running back and forth, getting various things done. And so I look forward to doing the programs, doing the podcast on the weekend with you folks, and then just getting some quiet time and prepping for the new week. Yep.
Well, good morning, guys. I see everyone is seeing us great. I see Alia Waldron in the house.
Happy to be seen.
Alia, good morning to you. Alia is asking where is Amanda. Amanda gets away some days.
Yeah. She's like that. She's like that. Here one day, gone the next. That's the beauty of the beautiful Amanda.
Good morning, Don. Don Cook is in the house early this morning. I see is it Kevin? How do you say that? Kevin Pierce? I'm not sure.
Yep.
But good morning
Pierce,
to you.
Mr. Pierce. Gavin Liverpool and Natasha Barker, Rena Williams. Yep. Good to see all of you guys. Thanks for joining us. And we hope you can see us and hear us loud and clear. Good to have each and every one of you with us. Yep.
I see I am just checking out, and I know my usual folks in the comment section. I don't see my YouTubers up as yet, so we can probably just make sure that our YouTubers are in, and that is
Selby was with us early on. Beatrice was with
Yes.
us early on. Beatrice is usually the first person to get into the comment section because we can see the YouTube comments coming in.
I see Zambia in the house this morning. Again, Rayon Pyle from Zambia. Good morning to you, Rayon. It's nice to be in your
neck of the woods.
Your hands or
Yep.
on your television. However, you were looking at us this morning. Thank you for inviting us into that space this morning.
Yep.
I see Beverly Trim is joining us from Brooklyn. Guys, let us know where you're joining us from this morning.
And you know what would be interesting too? For folks to let us know how you're joining us. So, for instance, you can put in the comment smart TV, phone,
that would be nice.
Laptop, desktop. Let us know how you're joining us. That would be great. Whether you're joining us in your living room on your smart TV or on your way to work on your phone, let us know how you are joining us and where you're joining us from. Myrna is here.
Owen
Monroe.
Love.
Yep.
Good morning. That's a nice
Margaret
name.
Craig and
Owen
Anita
Love,
Atkins. Owen Love. Respect to you, my brother.
That's a good name, you know.
Yeah, you got a lot to live up to. You got a name like Owen Love.
Tonica Cummings, good morning to you, Tonica. How are you this morning? How did you spend your night? I see Cynthia
Hetmeyer. Yeah. Good morning, Cynthia.
Are you related to D Hetmeyer?
Good morning, Cynthia. Marlon Thomas is here. Queen's in the house. Good to see you, Marlon.
I see Penelope Green is saying that she's joining us via phone and she's joining us from Brooklyn. So good morning to you.
Oh, yep. And then another Facebook user says,
we see
from my phone, Grovy's Bank. Grovy's Bank in the house. Yep.
Well, there's a lot of persons joining via phone as we would suspect.
Ramesh Puran says he's joining via phone. Good morning, Ramesh. Hope you're good. Pearson, is it Ronaldo? That went by so fast.
Candace Wilson from Essequibo. Candace is in the house right now. Good morning.
Wilson Blue joining us from phone as well. Join us via phone. Yep. Lots of folks via phone, as we anticipated.
As we anticipated, indeed. I see Wes Romvelt in the house this morning also. And guys, a lot of persons, I'm sure, is actually going out on their way to work and so forth. So we expect persons to be joining via phone a lot. I know the persons that join on YouTube are usually the ones that come in via television and things like that. So
yep. Our tubers,
amazing.
Some folks are going to. I see Karen Clark says she's joining us from Brooklyn.
Deborah Litch, Berbice in the house.
Susan Kanzia says she's joining us. As Kurtzia says she's joining us from Mike Coney. So again, Berbice peoples. Respect and manners to Berbice. Berbice girl can change your life.
Well, I was just
did wonders to me.
I about
did wonders to me, folks. Did wonders to me.
Sharon has a lot to be thankful to Barbies for.
Yep. Oh, a lot of Barbies. Ron Raphael, Cecile Ogle, and Yvonne Hines, Deshaun Alexander. Guys, we're so happy and we're so privileged that you guys have chosen to be here with us this morning. And sure, as you locked and loaded, hundreds of you are joining us this morning, including Raymond Ryan from Sparkle City, South Carolina. Respected manners, Raman.
Well, we see someone joining from college. I'm not sure which college that person is joining from, but it's nice to see the academia out and about this morning.
Raymond, how was work? How was gym this morning? Did you guys go for a ride in that little place you have there in Sparkle City? The Mary Black Trail. Did you go on the trail this morning, Raman? Candice Wilson.
You've been around, You've been around. I get
it wrong.
I believe, says she's joining from Barbados. If I got that right.
This name, I Candy. This name, we have to talk about this name, I Candy. But I Candy told us the other morning when we brought up this name, I Candy. That is not about.
Send a photo,
yes, but then there was a caveat. I Candy says it's not about the outward appearance.
No, don't do that to yourself. That's sending a message. I see all the way from Jersey, New Jersey. We see Sean Corey is in the house from Georgia this morning. So good morning,
Georgia. So far,
Maryland. Come on, Maryland is in the house.
Yeah. Guys, we love having y'all. We love having y'all from these far from places. Denise Carmichael from Trafalgar, West Coast. Yep. Good area there. Trafalgar, West Coast. Good to see you, Denise Carmichael. Good to see you guys. Rena Cummins.
Linden in the house.
Linden, my barn tongue. Right now, we could have been having breakfast by Four Corners.
If we leave Sharon, he's going to claim every bit of this country.
Barbies, Linden, we there. Bardica, in the house.
He has a lot of linkage to the various regions in here.
Clemnard Martins from the UK. Clemnard, good to see you. Warnella Garnett is here and Keith Dowding. Folks, we love having y'all.
Well, Keith is joining us from
having y'all.
Via phone also.
Love having y'all. Lots of things are trending this morning, though. Good to have you guys.
Okay, so I see this comment from Naomi that is saying Sharon and they're right here in Marriott.
Yeah. But Naomi gone big. Naomi gone big, folks. Naomi says she had the Marriott. She's still by the Marriott. You know, Mia left and Santoki and Adu left. But Naomi's still in the Marriott. Naomi money big like that. It's tall like that. Good for you.
I see Gavin Liverpool said he's joining by his smart TV and also on his phone. So he's switching, he's making sure that when he moves from room to room, he doesn't miss any part of the show.
Oh yes. Catherine, is it Ness? Am I calling it right? From the east bank of the Essequibo River. East Bank Essequibo. Nice to see you, and Faye Evelyn Wilson and Clyde Rodney and all the other folks, Rita, Arthur McCalmont and Palmer Wilson.
Well, we have Canada in the house this morning.
Canada's here too. My Lord, Justin Trudeau is here as well. Rachel Wolford from Albertstown.
Albertstown.
Same thing. Big up Albertstown. It's not the same thing. Big up Albertstown. Big up Albertstown as well. And
Seymour George. Good morning to you, Seymour.
Good to see you guys. Good to have all of you here. It's our privilege. It's really and truly our privilege being here with you guys and interacting with you guys like this. It's my privilege. I love this privilege.
It is a privilege. I consider it an extreme honor to actually have the opportunity to interact with all of you. And we encourage you guys when you come on. I know that persons get a little complacent. We encourage you to share the live stream so persons can come back when they have time, for persons that do not have the time at this moment. So to look at what is going on, we try to condense all the news for you. So we want everyone to be able to have that unique viewpoint. So share this live stream, so make sure that your friends and family have the opportunity to see what is going on in Guyana. And we get right back to the comment share, but there's so much going on in our country right now. We definitely have so much.
Rishi Rambali is there.
Well,
Divine Smith.
So Owen said that he's joining from Souville.
Ariel Hector. Souville. Shout out to Souville. Shout out to folks from Souville. Christine Jones is here, and is it Rollin Stevens, guys? Respect and manners to all of you. Good morning. For those who are now joining, welcome.
There's someone joining from iFloods.
Reporting from the college. Roland Stephen says he's joining from iFlood.
Christine is saying, I'm not hearing you guys calling. Let them.
Sorry. Let them. Let them. We jealous y'all because y'all had beer recently. Let them in the house. Good to see you guys.
Lennox is joining us from YouTube.
Lennox is Sheldon Wilson say Ian. Welcome, Sheldon.
Well, Lennox is coming all the way from
you see
Germany. So we have Germany.
Germany's here too. Respect to Angela Merkel and the new chancellor and all the folks in Germany. You know, kindness all over the world, you know.
That's why I like
all over the world.
I love this,
we are.
This segment.
And the others who are non-Chinese watching us too.
I love it. I love this segment.
Yeah. Good to see you guys. Marilyn Thomas says pace and power. I see someone joining us from Hertfordshire. Mia Miller. Hertfordshire is where? Is that locally or is that some part of Great Britain? Hertfordshire.
I haven't heard of it.
It could be one and the same too, because lots of these names, you know, we were once ruled by the British, so it wouldn't be far out. Paul Henriquez is here. Robin Allen Barnwell, Wazir Hazatali, Wazir Hazatali. Lots of folks, guys.
Trinidad, UK, Queens.
Everybody here. Welcome to breakfast, guys.
It's lovely. And we say share the live stream like
welcome to breakfast. And we want to see those emojis. We see a couple emojis. Like y'all vexed this morning. Like y'all vexed. Good to see you guys. It's Friday. Good to be here with you. We hope that you guys are fired up. You're ready to go. Ready to take on the weekend. Whatever form it comes in.
Well, weekend is coming in a whole lot of different form. We see a lot of change in persons in their how actions out and about. The curfew has been officially removed, so we don't have that 12 to 4 period anymore. So if you go on the road anytime between those hours, you see persons on the road, and you don't want to remove the curfew. What goes on? Persons are automatically believe that curfew is removed, so we can collect ourselves in tight groups.
Yeah, you see it on the walls, you see it all over. You know, people congregate and people are having fun, which is good. But remember all of the precautions.
Warren is saying that Monday is a U.S. holiday. I need to check into that. I'm not
Monday. What date is Monday? What US holiday is it? What holiday, Warren? Please, pray tell. Folks, lots of stuff trending that we want to share with you. You know, y'all are locked in. Y'all are locked into the program. But we want you guys to smash that emoji button. And the hundreds of you who are watching us, we want you guys to share the program as well. We want other folks to receive what we call valid and credible information.
But there's someone that says President Day. Oh, that's
President's Day is Monday. Well, we don't celebrate it here. Moving on.
Moving on.
Warren, we don't celebrate that here. Please and thank you. Right? President's Day. Well, good job to you guys and all your presidents and so forth. That being said, lots of information, Rita.
There's so much going on right about now, Sheba.
I'm giving her cue for us to get it.
he's giving her cue for us to get out of the comments because we will remain here.
Yeah, giving shout out to folks like Volney Wilson and Maureen Chichester Paul, Robert Pops Archer, Warren. Warren Figueroa says it's President Day and they're celebrating everybody but Trump. That's in the comments. Everybody except Trump. Well, Happy President's Day to all except Trump.
I'm glad I don't have to comment on
Shade, Warren, shade, Warren, shade.
But I actually want we spoke just now about persons going out and with the COVID with that curfew being relaxed, that measure being relaxed now. We also saw that there was an announcement by the Ministry of Health, none other than the Minister of Health, saying that they have approved testing kits for persons to
we coming there.
Home,
we are coming there. We coming there. You know what happened? Jump the money trend like by five places.
Shared, you know, shared is on a different.
You know, but closer to where Warren is. I see Rishi Prasad. Is it Rishi Rambali is here? Good to see you, Rishi. But closer to where folks like Warren is, the Twitter CEO announced recently that he's going on a 3 months paternity leave. Warren, did you go on a paternity leave for any of your kids. But here is the Twitter CEO, a male. His wife just got a baby, and he says he's going on 3 months paternity leave. I know in Trinidad.
I have a lot to say.
I know in
I
Trinidad,
want to see the comments on
you
this
can
one.
you can ask for such leave as part of their legal system. If your wife got a baby, you can ask for leave to go and to assist and so on. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good. You see, when we asking for male rights, right? Where the guys have us this morning, right? You asking for men's rights, for women's rights, and so on. You see, when men are asking for the rights, here how do we to come in? Hear it now. I got a different take on this.
I never
Hear
said
that.
No. Said it.
That's the blue. That's the blue. What do you say to that?
All right. So let me put it like this. For years, we have been talking about men not playing the role that we want them to play in the lives of their children.
I set it if you look at the barrier.
For years, we've been speaking about this, and what I can say is that for me personally, and I can go, I share stuff, and I can go advocate for this on my own if I so wish, because I personally believe that it's absolutely necessary for men to have that time to spend family time.
You sound as though you're advocating for John Doe.
What I can say is that it should be.
Hold on.
What we talk about.
There comes. Folks, y'all know by now, Twitter has an other half. We've never seen the fella. Like he's only come out nighttime. So we have dubbed him John Doe. So it sounds as though she's advocating for John Doe.
What I
proceed now. Paternity leave.
What I can say concerning paternity leave, yes, I commend that decision from the Twitter CEO for actually taking that time, because it's absolutely necessary as fathers that when you that you show that commitment, the whole process. We need to start coming out we need to stop saying things like my wife is pregnant or my girlfriend is pregnant, or so we need to just start normalize saying that we are having a baby, we are expecting a child, and things like that. And in all of that, it is very important also for this paternity leave to be given to both male and female. I mean, it comes with a lot. There is a cost, like I said, there's a cost to everything. But I think you need to look at the opportunity cost. More importantly, I do the economics of policy. Don't worry, Sharon is going to be, oh gosh, you're going into the policy again. But what
wonky stuff,
right?
The wonky stuff.
But yes, there is an economic cost to that, but I think the social cost is greater. So you need to look at the social aspect of it, and the presence of the father there, not only for that the child, but the presence of the father there to show support, lend support to the mother is extremely important. So I personally, if I'm having a baby with John, he knows that he's gonna have to spend that time with me, and that aspect of parenthood altogether is absolutely necessary.
But I think built into this whole process, and let's bring up the information with the Twitter. See, I want to call his name because again, a trendsetter, Parag Agrawal, the CEO of Twitter, again proceeding on 3 months paternity leave because he wants to be part of this process, and we commend that. We say kudos, and everybody should have a right. Every male, especially, should have a right because it's such an integral process. But my wife told me, Sarita said just now, we have to get to that place where we say we're having a baby. Well, I've tried that, right? And my wife, after the first child, she said, I know what you want to do. You didn't have a baby. Believe me, you didn't have a baby. I had a baby because of, all of the...
That's a physical, no, but I beg to differ with that, because for me, if you don't cement it in the minds of men that this is not a meeting, this is a we thing, you understand? This is not me, I'm not having this baby myself, I didn't conceive this child on my own, and as such, I'm not going to be raising this child.
No, that is not it.
Everything, you see, words have power, and you
I like
need
that.
to let the men know out there that this is a collective responsibility, and you share and you care and you have everything together.
You preach it out, sister. Amen. Amen. Amen.
It's different.
Yeah. No, but I appreciate that. But I think her point was, you body didn't go through nothing. You didn't have this baby. Believe it or not, you body didn't go through Nothing.
But you still had to deal with, well.
But I had to deal with her.
Good.
I had to deal with her. I went through that. And she ain't easy.
But on a very serious note, Guyana, we are this economy that is we are third when it comes to the per capita right now, per capita GDP and all of those things with the oil resource that is here. So when we're speaking about these aspects, these social matters, and I believe that is things that we need to seriously look at as it regards policy decision making and so forth, because we need to have a system that is put in place that men actually have that option, that they can say, hey, my wife is but it's due in the next 2 weeks or so, and I need to be there for her. Our baby is going to be in the home, and I need to be there for that first month at the very least. Come on, right?
I mean, there's a number of ways it could be done, but I think it has to be institutionalized at the policy level, because I mean, I can
be saying Barbados government is about to grant paternity leave to men as well.
Good to know.
Research that.
Good to know.
Those are the stages of development that we need to be.
But again, I could see administrators here saying you can take UPA leave, urgent private affairs. You can take no pay leave and all that. But that's why we're saying it has to be something that perhaps is institutionalized.
No, you have to, again, I say words have power. It has to be paternity leave for men. That's what it has to be. Let the man know that he is going home because he wants to be with his family.
I'm bringing a lot of energy to this subject here. A lot of energy. Go right ahead.
Women are advocating on behalf of us. Come on.
John, I hope you're hearing, boy. I hope you're hearing. Serious with this thing. Serious. But moving on, guys, we have another issue on the international front we think you ought to know about. FYI is the fact that there's been some breakthrough with HIV/AIDS, and we know that pandemic has really took a lot of lives, millions of lives since its advent in the early 80s. HIV/AIDS and the Ball Alert. We picked this up from yesterday. This news site called Ball Alert reported that a woman has been cured from HIV/AIDS through a transplant using umbilical cord blood. And from the notation that we have at the other end says it's a very risky operation. They did see the woman recover fully. She even had cancer to boot with that, and there's both remission for cancer and this HIV/AIDS. But the tricky thing here is that the doctors are saying, for this to work, this getting the blood from the umbilical cord and all that, you would have to have both cancer and HIV at the same time, because the procedure is so risky to your life. So they're really trying to refine that process. But again, we are on the road to somewhere.
Well, I look when it comes to these specific matters. When it comes to these matters, I'm a little conspiracy theorist. Nevertheless, I try to keep myself in tune with the technology that is around,
and the science,
and yes, the science that is linked to such. And I know that medicine altogether, we have gone a very long way in pharmaceuticals and all of those things throughout the world. So I expect no least than cure for HIV and such things coming forward. Billions and billions of US dollars have been injected into these studies and research labs and so forth to make sure that that a cure is found for some of these things. But sometimes I think that when you look at the actual money that is spent on the treatment, that may be an incentive to slow down the process of actually getting to a cure. But like I said, I'm a conspiracy theorist, so let us not worry with what I'm saying here right now. So we're thankful, and we're saying
very much so.
A lot of work has been done when it comes to medicine, those pharmaceutical corporations. And so we saw with COVID-19, for example, the speed at which that vaccine
correct. I was just going to come there. Yeah,
that vaccine was actually developed. So we know that the technology is there. We know that the research personnel are there. We know that persons have been working in labs for years on things that we are yet to know about. So we would only expect that things like HIV and cancer and those things are on the front burner of
and I'm happy you said that, because even with this announcement, they've been progress in terms of heading towards a cure for HIV/AIDS. This didn't happen overnight. This is lots of work,
Yeah.
the combination of lots and lots of work, and we thought that you ought to know that. Also, guys, on the international front, well, closer to home is what Rita wanted to talk about early on, is COVID.
Yeah.
COVID and the self-test and all of that is happening. So on the COVID front, Frank Anthony had some information for us recently.
But what I was getting into a little bit earlier was the fact that there is now the Ministry of Health and the Minister of Health, Frank Anthony actually went out and said that he basically gave the green light for the testing case. Government gave green light to use self-testing COVID kits, with no methods in place to track positive results from same. So yes, this is going to be a little tricky one, Sharon, altogether, because what he's saying now is that you can buy the kits and you can take the test at home, but then he's saying that, well, there's basically no way that for the ministry to know and track how many persons are actually tested positive through that process. And that's very serious, because you've been tracking the numbers every single day, what it's like, how it is increasing rather, because it hasn't been improving. Let's be quite honest about that. And also, we had the announcement when they said that they're not going to be doing PCR tests on anyone. No one can go in. So we see the government taking a lot of steps back, and in so doing, they will not be able to come to the Guyanese people and say, well, these are the numbers.
These are the true figures, because again, as Rita is saying, the minister has said, take your test, but don't tell me. You're not mandated to tell us.
He said it will be good.
It'll be good.
It would be good if you gave us a feedback.
Don't tell me.
He was basically saying that if you take a positive test, then you will come to. And if you take a test and it's positive, then you can go to the clinic or whatever and take another test to make sure. Nobody's going to.
Yeah.
Who's going to?
Can you imagine a parent telling a child that, do your exam, but don't tell me how you're doing. We are prepared, for the end result. Do the COVID test. That's what the government is telling us now. But don't tell us. So we've had the COVID curfew lifted. We have had with that being lifted, we know that the regulations and so on were already lax in terms of the implementation and enforcement. Most of them have been totally abandoned by now. And then here's the government on the heels of all that saying, take your home test, but you're not going to tell me what's the result.
So when they give the numbers, what we can safely say with this announcement, every time you see the government announcing that so many persons have been tested positive, that number does not include.
It's a very, very conservative estimate.
Very.
And as a matter of fact, 3 persons died just yesterday from COVID-19. I think there was somewhere between 70 and 100 new cases of infected persons. So those are just some of the figures. Moving on to the fight card, nonetheless.
Well, shall we have with that? I want to actually mention
it's our fight card
with the COVID with that announcement. I want to also talk about the fact that with Mashimani coming next week, there was another announcement saying that 3,000 to the capacity of 3,000 persons will be able to attend these events for Mashimani in the coming days. And mind you that they're saying only fully vaccinated persons. These 3,000 persons should be fully vaccinated. This is coming from the same news media that has been reporting throughout that there are so many fake vaccination
cards and
this is coming also. And persons we always have this impression that once you're vaccinated you don't spread it. And I keep saying that once you cluster persons together, among those 3 persons, let's just assume for argument's sake that 3,000 persons that are indeed fully vaccinated and did not buy the card or whatever is actually going to these events. At some point in time, there will be persons there that are COVID-19 positive. And what happens when you cramp those persons together? Now that is a super spreader event.
Right here.
That's a super spreader.
Please and thank you.
No matter how you twist it and turn it, that's what's going to happen. I mean, I'm not a doctor.
I don't think we have an efficient system where you can check the COVID status of 3,000 persons coming into any event.
Well, even with the event,
and then you have all the protocols that are still in place. Is the curfew and so on that has been relaxed. You still got social distancing. You still got sanitizing.
No.
Wearing your mask.
People,
challenges are there.
When the curfew was lifted, those those other regulations and guidelines, apparently they were lifted also in the minds of event planners and things like that, because no one is adhering to any of that anymore.
Nope, nope. But you know what else is trending? The sugar estates are
my
trending.
gosh.
The sugar estates are trending. Well, you all know the government had said during campaigning for elections that they were going to reopen the sugar estates.
And I said it's not going to happen.
And you were right, because 18 months later, not only have the sugar estates not reopened, but sugar estates, for instance, like Wales, they're saying now that because they have the gas shore project happening there, some of the farmers that were given lands after Wales would have closed, given lands to cultivate, to farm, what have you, they might have to move now because of the laying of that pipeline. And then the government told us quite recently that the Elmore estate will become a mechanic shop.
Yes.
So they campaigned on they're going to open, they say, up new AFC, them boys, they're wrong. We're going to come vote for us, open back the sugar estate. They said they're going to renegotiate the contract too. We're going to open back the sugar estates, but they're now using the sugar terminals to ship out rice. And now every indication is that Wales not going to open back, Elmore not going to open back, because again, they are repurposing these former sugar estates. Yep. So much for promises, guys. So much for promises.
No, this is a very sensitive discussion that we've been having in this country for years. Years go, years come. We've been having discussions on sugar, but I continue to say that you should not have it in such a situation that you just have it like a political football, basically, like people refer to that situation. We don't want to get into that aspect of it, but the fact remains that they said that they would have been opening back all of these estates, and now we're seeing that they're going in the opposite direction. What is the opposite direction? They are moving the persons that were given lands now because of pipelines. Pipelines need to be run. I dare say that had anyone else done that, it would have been chaos in the streets. Oh my God, you can't do this. But now
we are peaceful people.
Now they are sitting in the seats. We see them going down that line because they see that as a more developmental pathway. So those persons now are not being seen as they projected them to be before, as the most important people. And I dare say, I keep saying all the time that our human resource, most important resource, and we need to treat persons with dignity and respect. You can't just go making those decisions. That was done, mind you, I know, without any consultation or anything like that. But I'm yet to be told of any consultation process that was done with that. So again, I
so
said that
much for the promises of the government. They said,
but that's just one, right?
Workers can get 50% raise.
We have video evidence of that, thankfully.
What was supposed to be real and truly was 50 minus, 47 point how much? No, 43%. Yes. 50 minus 43. That was going to be the raise. That was 7% thus far. And then they said, for education, still waiting, 40,000 old age pension.
Oh, come on.
Still waiting.
No, but the thing is about those promises, especially when it comes to the 50% increase raise, because that was something that was spoken about in the National Assembly. No other than your finale had stood up in the National Assembly and said that persons were and they demand the 50% increase in wages and salary for Guyanese. Mind you, this was with in budget without oil resources. And now we have those resources and we have the budget over $500 billion, then those words are suddenly forgotten. But thankfully for technology, we have preserved those words.
Thankfully. So that's what's happening on that front. That's what's trending. Again, they're not going to reopen the sugar estate at Wales. That's a foregone conclusion. They're not going to
reopen any of the
and then Elmore, clear signal they're not opening Elmore. And so the sugar workers are now being left, hands open. And that's why we saw lots of money being given out. They were cushioning them for said things coming. Or rather, nothing is coming in the case of Elmore and both Wales. Wow. And as Judith is saying, they're not going to be reopened because we understand. It's only an caring government. We want to tell people the truth about where sugar is going on the world market.
Well, they know, and we have been explaining to persons. If even you go and look and listen to the even the projections of the finance minister, you will see that he has projected less again, and the production target has dwindled significantly again, because they know that it's not going to get better. They know that it's going to get worse, but yet they come to the people and they blatantly lie, and they say, well, this is what's going to happen. We're going to go in and we're going to do more, and it's going to get better, and we're going to reopen. And at the end of the day, they are 100% sure that that is not going to happen. They know what is going on. If you're going to think futuristic, it doesn't make sense. And if dare I say, the more they talk about technology within the system and within the industry, the more use of technology, the less labor is required. The less persons, let me just put it up like this, the more they invest in the mechanization, bringing in machine and all of those fancy technology into the sugar industry, the less they will require that physical labor to go out there and to do the actual work.
It's so wonky. It's so wonky. Yep.
Yes, I get into the technical
So wonky.
aspects a whole lot. But we have, I'm sure you had some very interesting discussions last evening. I think we should be discussing a lot of that today.
But also on the trend this morning, another issue that is trending is something that David Patterson, a motion that David Patterson has brought to the National Assembly concerning some of these very issues in the oil and gas sector.
Well, David Patterson submitted a motion on the liability insurance coverage for spills, and I saw a lot being covered even in our local newspaper when it comes to this particular aspect of what is going on, because we should by no by no frivolous reasoning. We have sound reasoning why we should have full coverage insurance. And David Patterson basically went through with that motion. But again, when you put a motion forward to the National Assembly, we saw the last motion that David Patterson had put forward. It took forever to actually see the light of day on the order paper. So this particular motion, especially given the time it is coming at, I'm not sure how soon we're going to be seeing that on the order paper. We don't even know when Parliament is going to be convened again, the National Assembly.
And in addition to that, from recent history, you had lots of countries who had oil spills. About 2 weeks ago, you had that African country and off their coast, an oil tanker with 60,000 barrels of oil exploded there, spewing that oil into the ocean. And so this is what we're trying to look down the road and see, just in case that the monies we're putting up as a country for our people, or should be putting up for projects that we want to do and for future generations as well. We don't have to dip into that to go cleaning up an oil disaster. That's why folks have been asking for full coverage insurance, or as David Patterson put it there in that motion, liability insurance. So in case anything goes wrong, you got a little something set aside to deal with that. And there's been a lot of resistance on that front.
But what is most interesting, if you actually think about it, is the fact that the government actually campaigned saying that they're going to go and renegotiate the contract and all of these things. Now they're not speaking about that. They said it was such a bad deal and all of that, so they said they're going to go and they're going to right that wrong. But now that they're in the seats of government, they're not talking about that. And to go hand in hand with that, now they're not even looking at the full coverage insurance altogether. These are things, Guyana, this is the first time ever we're utilizing this amount of capital within the country for development altogether. And the least we can do is protect ourselves when it comes to insurance. We do not have
we just
resource
can't
to handle any such calamities or disasters.
No.
We don't.
No.
Let us be quite honest.
And this should actually be a non-issue. It should be a foregone conclusion,
Yes.
a no-brainer that we need to be
Something.
fully insured. But a no-brainer should have been also that the 9 billion wrapped up in pre-costs should have also been audited. But the government seemed no more inclined to audit the $9 billion that Exxon said they spend to get production going. They're no closer to doing that, as they're no closer also to pushing Exxon to go full coverage insurance just in case anything should happen down the line. And you know what else has been lingering? Not only the deficiencies in these oil arrangements, but also Sugargate. Sugargate has been lingering. We had Kemraj on our affiliate program in the ring last evening.
I don't even want you to
and I had
jump
to ask about Sugargate.
I don't want
I'm running ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Sharon is running ahead right about now
running
because
ahead.
we're talking about all of these matters and things that should actually be at the level of the National Assembly. We spoke about the David Patterson motion and the fact that we don't know when it's going to see the light of day. But while we're on Parliament, I also want to speak about the fact that I see the Human Rights Association actually called for they actually was speaking up against the matter with Nigel Darmlal and that comment and that
I don't want to run ahead here
comment
at all. Slow down, slow down, slow down.
and that comment as well. So we definitely need to be looking at
Yeah, and
what
this is
was
and
said.
this I think is Mike McCormack from the Human Rights Association of Guyana.
Yes. So it said it speaks volume about the status of women in Guyana, and other MPs have not called for Mr. Darren to be seriously disciplined, up to and including dismissal from Parliament, right? And that's what he's saying. He's basically saying that he expects more to be said. As a country altogether, this is at the level of Parliament, and we have the executive committee of the Guyana Human Rights Association actually coming up with that statement. And I must say that as a woman in the National Assembly, I am thankful for the Human Rights Association to actually be one of the groups to speak out at this moment. And we encourage and we well, not encourage. We wait to see how many other women right groups will actually speak out about this matter. Shard, you had a long list of women right groups that was that.
Yeah. You know, in the recent past, we had some issues, and lots of these groups came to the fore. The PPP's women's organization. You had Reverend Pat Sheraton came forward. You had quite a few folks, but they've gone silent now. When it's one of their own, they've gone very, very silent. Interesting, though. Interesting. History will be our judge.
Well, we still have that to deal with, and of course, we have to be monitoring those situations because when we look at those things, then we have to come back. And when we see other reporting in the press about domestic violence and so forth, we say, well, look, this is the ripple effect that you have when such comments and such derogatory statements are made at the level of the National Assembly.
Yeah, we cannot encourage a level of acceptance on such issues at all. The kind of crass behavior that we saw recently in the National Assembly cannot be condoned.
Moving on, Sharon.
Yeah, moving on. That being said, guys, Sugargate has been lingering with us. And Kemraj Ramjitan was on our affiliate program last evening in the ring, and I put the question to him, his thoughts on this whole Sugargate controversy. Is there more to come? He seemed to think, Kemraj, the leader of the Alliance for Change and Member of Parliament, seem to think that there's more to come on this Sugargate issue. And I think we have some of that interaction with Kemraj last evening on the program, on our affiliate program in the ring. Take a listen.
Mr. Jagdeo performed very badly. If he was in front of a jury and the jury had to make up its mind, I think the most negative of minds, they would have, the conclusions would have come up with the most negative things about that. The stuttering and, you know, he really susui pans the body. And it is terrible. And here it is, you got information from a very important media house, Vice Media, I think, and the girl was some important, they call her, what a long documentary.
Journalist, yeah, correct.
Yeah. And very sound, beautiful questioning. She is an expert in cross-examining. If she was an attorney, that would have been an excellent piece. And she managed to get it out of him. And that is the reaction. This thing is terrible. And the opposition certainly are going to ask for a police investigation into these serious allegations that have come out in the public. I am going to await also when that girl is going to bring out her documentary, because I am absolutely certain that she would have had Sue on video or audio saying all the things that she put to Jagdeo. You know?
Yep. That's Kemraj Ramjitan, leader of the Alliance for Change, and our colleague, member of Parliament, as well, saying that, you know, Jack didn't look too nice in that interview at all. And I also put a question to him whether he felt that, you know, there was veracity to those allegations. He said yes, knowing the fella. There's veracity to those arguments, and he says also he believes there's more to come. There's more to come. The tips.
Well, most definitely, and I want to remind persons that the young lady that actually Isabella Young, she's a journalist, of course, and that, but she works with the documentary on Showtime. The Vice Media, they have a documentary series that they actually air on Showtime, and that is where that will be aired. I think it's either in March, or, well, we're hoping it's March, because I believe we were told that they are due a new documentary the season either February month end or early March. So we're expecting that to come out in that new series that is aired on Showtime. So whenever it's out, we're going to be the first to be on.
That's going to be interesting.
What is going on? But
that is going to be very, very interesting.
But actually, what Kemraj was saying is that he's absolutely correct, and everyone agrees with him. These are comments that have been circulating in the public space, and everyone is of the impression. You did a poll, if I do remember, of persons who actually believe that there's more to this story, and everyone,
overwhelming majority, over 1,000, over 1,600 persons responded, and overwhelming majority, 95% said
they believe
there
it
is
to be
more.
true.
Yeah, and they believe it.
Yeah. Well, we're yet to see what comes out of it, and as we said, the vice president, he just jumped the gun and actually put out that piece of information even prior to the documentary.
I wonder why
being released.
I wonder why.
But anyone that follows any bit of journalism would know that there most definitely he was not the only person that was interviewed, and that story was linked and coupled with so many other interviews. So
yep.
Forward to that.
Yep. We had a late start, guys, so we still have some minutes for you. We owe you guys a minute.
Yes.
And that will take us into the big issue we're looking at this morning: transparency and accountability in government. Transparency and accountability. And we saw some information quite recently coming out of Mayor Mottley and the CEO and chairman of ExxonMobil, Mr. Warren Woods. Darren Woods, Mr. Darren Woods, CEO and chairman of ExxonMobil, and Mayor Mottley, which suggests that we got some catching up to do where transparency in government is concerned. You know, one of the deficiencies perhaps of this oil and gas, this energy conference and expo, is that you will think after such, if it was a big conference, you might have a press conference afterwards where Darren Woods and Irfan Ali may stand side by side and take questions from the media. ExxonMobil is a major player here. And then you have Irfan Ali, who is helm of the stewardship of the government over oil and gas and energy and all of that. And the conference seemed to have wound down with like a script, and a damn script too, as against them standing before the media and taking questions from the media on, you know, these lofty things which they talk about, you know, these fluffy things.
Well, kudos to me, Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados, that she had the decency to actually brief her nation on her return as to what was discussed here. And I dare say we have been speaking about the lack of transparency for some time, and we have been pinpointing areas like when there's no cabinet briefings coming to the people of this
post-cabinet briefings.
These are things that are extremely important. You don't know what is going on. We did not know that the discussions, the talks had come to an end. It was halted with the Chinese company that about the new Harbor Bridge. We learned that from that clipping also with the
and even the reneging on the promise to reopen the sugar estates, especially more recently, and more. It's during the conference we heard that they were going to be repurposing and more. But as Charita pointed out, Mayor Mottley left last evening, and as soon as she arrived in Barbados, she briefed the nation in what her engagement in Guyana centered around.
Because there's an expectation, I believe, of a people when they know that this is how their leader treats them when it comes to information and disseminating information altogether. So Mia knew that there's an expectation in her country, and that expectation because she nurtured that line of thinking that, hey, I'm not here to do what as I'm very well pleased. I'm going to come to you, the people, and I'm going to say this is what is going on. But in Guyana, the only time that we ever saw that level of transparency, and it was also highlighted on the international radars. The only time we saw that was the 2015 to the 2020 period, in which persons were actually briefed. We had post cabinet
consistent,
and it was every
post cabinet
single
briefings,
week. It was every
consistently.
week. I dare say it, those things happen every single week. And persons were able to have discussions around that. And the media, let me talk about the media. This international energy conference in Expo, I expected that there would have been a lot more, well, a lot of media engagement, and I'm yet to see these press conferences. You know, some people really like press conferences in this country when they want to get out their message, but when it comes to actually taking the hard hitting questions, persons suddenly
That's something
back off,
That's
and there is
something
no press conference altogether. So the media, I think the media needs to push a whole lot more. I know a lot of the young journalists and so forth, and they're trying, but they're not given that avenue, that opportunity to actually interrogate these things.
There's a way to go. There are ways to go. There are ways to go. So, guys, here is Mia on arriving in Barbados last evening, briefing the nation on her participation in this quote-unquote International Energy Conference and Expo. Mia Mottley, folks.
Of course, we went there initially to be able to deal with Guyana's inaugural hosting of the International Energy Conference, as they are now a global player in energy. And at the conference was the Secretary General of OPEC, the Chairman of ExxonMobil, and a whole host of global players, because of the literal bounty that they have had with respect to oil and gas. But the conference didn't only deal with that, it looked also at the whole issue of renewable energy. And most importantly, we were able to contextualize what we as developing nations have done. The truth is that when we hear net zero all the time, people assume that net zero means zero fossil fuel. In truth and in fact, it doesn't. And even at the point of 2050 and net zero, the world anticipates that there will at least be 20 to 25% use of fossil fuels. The question is, who should be providing those fossil fuels? Is it only the existing suppliers who have been doing it? Or do you have emerging players like Guyana and others, and even our own case, Barbados? Are we in a position to be able to benefit from it? So those are some of the difficult and complex discussions that we put on the table that need to be resolved. But separate from that, as you know, we would also have engaged in bilateral and trilateral discussions, bilateral with Guyana and Suriname, and trilateral Barbados, Guyana and Suriname, to ensure that we can continue to do the things that will boost our economy and equally make life easier for our people. And what are some of those things? The question of food prices continues to be something that causes all of us angst. And therefore, if we can reduce the price of food, particularly healthy food, then we believe that we can add serious value. And of course, Guyana and Suriname have much more land than we do, and they all have access to fresh water. So we are talking about not only training, expanded production, both in crop and livestock, and then using Barbados as a logistics hub in order to be able to supply not just the Barbados market, but other markets regionally and internationally. Similarly, we were able to have discussions with their manufacturers, and in fact, I'm happy to report that there will be a group of Guyanese manufacturers coming here early in April and looking at a range of products, including prefab housing. We looked at the whole issue of access to timber. We looked at the issue of, and have been discussing seriously, the question of combined training. There's some areas in which Guyana's training will be what we need in the area of welding and joinery, etc. And there are other areas in hospitality where we can provide significant opportunities. They want 6,000 hospitality workers trained, and we have already started the process of providing for that. Separate from that, with respect to tourism, we believe that there are opportunities for co-branding, particularly in Europe, where there is one, an appetite for ecotourism as well as beach tourism still, but secondly, where people have typically longer vacations, and therefore the opportunity to visit two destinations in a trip is not something that is out of their range. We also looked at the whole issue of international transport, in particular the whole issue of logistics for the movement of cargo. That continues to bedevil this Caribbean region. And Suriname, there are some Surinamese players now that have invested in both air cargo and also maritime assets for cargo. And we are looking to see how we can continue to boost that. Barbados has some issues as it relates to sand. Guyana and Suriname both want limestone, so that there are opportunities to be able to boost the market for the cargo vessels as we go forward. In addition to that, we discussed the question of how do we get the whole issue of reducing the cost of air travel between our countries, because once people start moving, they're going to find the opportunities that governments haven't even thought about. And I believe that therefore is also going to be one of the things you'll see significant progress on over the course of the next few weeks. With respect to the issue of security, we confirmed Guyana will be coming on as a member of the regional security system. That is a significant impetus for us in the Southern Caribbean. Guyana's military is long established and is well equipped, and therefore the ability to have another anchor in the regional security system, the ability to have another anchor within the regional security system is something that will enhance the ability of the RSS not only to respond to national security issues, but in particular as we get ready to go into the hurricane season, again, natural disaster events that may take place in the region. Ironically, I'm told that here in Barbados we had a little weather incident last night that knocked out power in a number of parishes, particularly those on the East Coast, and that in Trinidad I'm being told too that they also had a significant displacement of power as a result of those similar events. And when we talk about the climate crisis, these are the things that we are clearly referring to. In the issue of mining and quarrying, I spoke just now about sand, their need also for limestone. And in the case of Guyana and Suriname, both in fact now take cement from Barbados periodically, and we expect that will continue. The truth is that over the course of the next few weeks, you're going to be hearing a lot more from us on the initiatives taken between Barbados, Guyana, and Suriname. There are other matters that we discussed of mutual benefit to us, and I look forward to being able to welcome Guyanese businessmen up here. There was a significant contingent of Barbadian businessmen who went down with us, and they too have reported that the talks and discussions went exceedingly well for them, and they anticipate that the future can be bright in terms of a renewal of this relationship, particularly in the post-COVID environment where everyone is looking for new opportunities to be able to build back up the volume of economic activity that obviously was displaced over the course of the last 2 years.
Yep. There you have it. There you have it, guys. Mia Mottley, Prime Minister of Barbados.
Quite amazing, guys, as you come on, as persons that are now joining us. I see a lot of persons have just joined, and I encourage persons to share the live stream as we continue this morning's discussion. Make sure you share. Don't keep the information all by yourself. Make sure you share it, and other persons are coming on right now will have an opportunity to
hundreds of you watching, but some of y'all haven't shared as yet, you know. Y'all come and eat by the table and drink with tea. Y'all can't even say thanks. Say thanks by sharing the live stream and smashing the emoji button as well.
Most definitely. Shout back to what we just looked at. It's quite amazing, and it's very impressive to look at the Barbados Prime Minister just went back home, and there she is, and Guyanese are locked into what she's saying. You know why? Because this is the first time Guyana is actually having commentary coming as to what was discussed at this energy conference. This is the Guyana hosted the International Energy Conference, an expo, and we are locked into what Mia Mottley is saying, because our leaders are yet to come and say,
and
these are the things that were discussed.
Mark our words. Mark our words here. Now here, if I'm going to run into the press conference.
This is super impressive.
After the conference, you run into the press conference about the press conference. When you could have had the backdrop of the press, of this energy conference and expo, and him articulating the very same issues. 6 minutes of airtime, and Mia Mottley of Barbados has articulated a range of issues. She has been in discussion with her Guyanese counterpart in the private sector about a range of issues. The conference has concluded. We haven't heard the same level of thinking or the same breadth of knowledge and so forth on these very issues from our own leaders locally. Why is that? We understand the fluffy stuff. But now it's the nuts and bolts. How we going to move this process forward? And immediately, landing in Barbados last evening, Mayor Mottley engages the media with members of her government's leadership there, and she's talking to the Barbadian people of why she went to Guyana and what she's come back with. And we see some of the comments. They all need in the comment section, I see somebody say, we will give Barbados 1 million barrels of oil. Give us Mia as the leader. Give us Mia as our leader.
But her interest in her people, you can say what you want about Mia, her interest in her people and the level of governance that she actually oversees. It's amazing. We have to give credit where credit is due. Mia came here, like I'm saying, how should we feel as Guyanese? We just hosted this international energy conference and expo. And we don't know what our leaders are actually, what they went into these closed door meeting with and what was discussed and what arrangements were made. But here is Mia saying, yes, I went over to Guyana and this is what was discussed and this is what was agreed upon and this is what we did. And we have to listen to Mia Mottley. Thankfully, we have to give credit to the to where we got the video from. I believe it's the Office of the Prime Minister
of Barbados
actually released that video footage. So credit to them. We have to go now to that page as Guyanese to listen to what was discussed.
What Barbados got out of the process.
Guyana and Barbados.
Interesting.
We have to go
but
there.
With that, our big issue, as we said, we're looking at both Mia Mottley for our big issue. We're looking at Mia Mottley and the ExxonMobil chairman and CEO, Mr. Darren Woods, who was also part of this conference. And we're picking up some information out of the Kaicho News, which is suggesting, again, like we are suggesting here, that there is no transparency and that ExxonMobil was running from actually answering questions at this conference, answering questions directly from the media. One part of an article in Kaicho News reads thus: since the open door session of the 4-day International Energy Conference on Thursday ended with ExxonMobil Guyana President Alistair Rutledge evading burning pertinent questions pertinent to the local oil and gas sector. It must be noted that yesterday was the final day of public discussions at the Marriott Hotel in Georgetown and wound up with a panel discussion between the Natural Resources Minister Vikram Bharat and the ExxonMobil President. Although a question and answer segment was on the day's agenda, the critical components of the conference were skipped as the host went straight into vote of thanks, ending the session.
I actually was looking at that discussion. I'm going to be going through it with a fine-tooth comb as we did the speeches from the world leaders at Greystar Shores. And I did pick up, and we had I can't remember the name of the third guy on the panel. We had Vikram Bharat, we had the CEO of Exxon, and I can't remember the name of the other guy, but he was actually I believe a professor from Harvard University. I believe I'm correct about that. But he was asking some tough questions, and he was asking the real questions, and you can see the evasion of those questions by the CEO of Exxon, and rightly so that he's there and he has his interests to protect. But there we had none other than Vikram Bharat sitting there, actually giving no bit of clarity to the people of Guyana, just giving general coverall statements about projects and so forth, and not being able to link directly how Guyanese are going to be benefiting from these projects.
That's where we are. And again, all this is part of transparency. You see, when we talk about fluff, this is a government that love to come out and talk about transparency. We believe in good governance and we believe in all of these fluffy stuff. But the getting down and the practice of it.
The EITI,
right? It's quite different. The practice of it. As we saw in last of the comment, we had to learn from Mia Mottley yet again, some of what transpired at the conference. And here again, for our part, the transparency aspect, to see, for instance, the president of ExxonMobil Guyana, Mr. Rutledge, and perhaps the president of ExxonMobil CEO and chairman, Mr. Woods, give a press conference side by side with Mr. Ali and taking questions. Why are we evading questions? This oil belongs to the Guyanese people. Not so.
But it's not being treated as such. And one of the things I was listening to when Mia was speaking is the fact that in the middle of her briefing on what was going on, what was done and what was discussed at the conference here in Guyana, she went right back to issue at home. She said, well, she just got here, but she learned that there was this blackout, big issue because of in the middle of all of that. Yes, you're in a different country. You're discussing the interests of Barbados and how Barbados can actually come on board and benefit from this process as well. And Mia's concerned with the blackout. I'm telling you, Sharon, we are yet
in
to
Barbados
hear at any point in time the leadership, the current government actually coming out and be concerned with what is going on with the people and how these things are affecting the people. You just mentioned what is going on with the pipelines being run and persons have to be displaced from the lands that they were given. And all of those little things, lack of transparency in our country is nothing new. It's nothing new. We are used to it, and I say this over and over. We live in a country in which it is second nature to have no transparency at this point in time. We had a period of 5 years in which we greatly benefited when it comes to transparency, and that is the truth. International records and rankings show that it was clear. Now we are back to that system again, pre-2015, in which there is no transparency again. And what happened? Guyanese have the mentality to go back to what? Oh, well, we're used to this, so it is what it is. We cannot just be accepting it. We are having resources that we never had before. We need to demand that level of transparency. We have to continue to speak out against it. Actions need to be had against it, and persons are out there, and they know that they deserve more.
Yep. Agreed. And folks, you know what? This is a discussion we cannot conclude now, and that's why we're going to be continuing it on our podcast Below the Belt at 12. And because it's Friday, you all know it's Friday, it's Talk Back Friday. You guys are going to have the mic on the podcast, so we're going to invite you guys there. We want to hear from you on this very subject matter of transparency and good governance and all of the fluffy stuff and the actual actualizing of it. We're not seeing that. And so this is going to be a topic on our podcast as we open the lines to you guys during the course of lunch to hear from you, guys. But, we want folks to get the valid and credible information. That's the only how we could put it. The valid and credible information. We love that you guys join us, that you guys spend this time with us in the mornings. Why don't you take the opportunity? Hundreds of you literally watching us. And if one of you shared the program, how many other persons can benefit from that? So guys, smash that emoji button for us and share the live stream.
Sharon, I'm looking at the main screen here, and I'm thinking to myself, we probably need to go. We probably need to consider going to 9:30 because I noted that at 9, be like 10 to 9.
We just might.
That's all.
We just might.
That 10.
Y'all now get sweetened.
No, between that 10 minutes, we see a lot of persons coming online and to join the conversation.
Y'all now get sweetened.
No, actually, persons, you think about a lot of persons doing their work in the morning and all of that. So we have to be considerate in how we segment the information to make sure that those persons that are joining late actually have a chance to get into the main topic, especially.
Yep. And we guys, you know what?
We're tweeting with you in mind.
The wonderful thing about this program is, as Judy said, we're still tweaking it. Yeah. We're still, because we're gonna find the sweet spot. Y'all know, y'all have a sweet spot. We're gonna be finding the sweet spot on this program, tweaking it with you guys in mind. All of this is for you, for your information, that you are kept abreast with what is happening. And again, it's not important for us just to come here and to have 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 people look at us. It's for you guys to be informed that you can make better decisions, for you to be informed, and that not only that you can inform others. If all of us congregate here, we listen to the information, but we do nothing afterwards, what good is that? Yep. Right? What, we just having a line. And so part of your being active and engaging, and part of us engaging you, is that we share the live stream and that we smash that emoji. But when you share, that information gets into your timeline. Other persons on your friends list get a chance to see the program as well. And that is why we say share the program, and as well, we can discuss it in your office. Discuss what we've said here. Leave your comments as well. We come back. I know Charita does this religiously, go through the comments, try to respond to folks as well. I try to do. some of it too?
I do go through the comments and try to respond to folks, but then sometimes I see some comments, right? And then I have to go to the profile, and I'm like, oh, this person created this profile the 13th of February. This was a specifically created troll profile for
the trolls.
For this
Shout out to you guys.
So we don't respond to the trolls, but persons that actually have valid questions. If you leave your questions, we will be aiming at addressing some of those concerns in the upcoming program. So if you have concerns, anything that was shared on the program today, that you have a question that you may want to be answered, we can answer on Monday's program. Just leave that comment. We're going to go through it and we're going to get to you. I just want to make note of some of the comments that I see coming up right now. We see someone joining us that just got in from work, and this is life. We have persons that are now going in from the night shift. So to all those persons, thank you for joining, even though that I know those persons are tremendously tired. Yeah. So we have a lot of work to do.
Good to see you guys. Good to have you guys here. And guys, the other aspect we want to encourage you to do is to partner with us, which means giving us some money so that we can continue to do this. We can't put it any other way. Partnering is a very nice way, a fluffy way of saying, help us to continue doing this. All of this costs us something, but we believe that you guys are special and we ain't just treating y'all anyhow, right? We got to come out here looking nice for you guys. We got to curate the information in a certain way for you guys. We out here. You understand? We things tight, but we could got good values, we could got morals, we could got character, and we could present ourselves differently, and we could present ourselves in a certain way.
This is a show befitting us. This is a show in which you don't see Sheridan in the ring.
Not all the time. Sometimes it seeps in. And I got ego. I can bring the bell in the morning. Ping, 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 ping. I can bring the bell in the morning. So guys, there's several ways in which you can help us to move forward. We got several platforms in which you can contribute to our program. We got PayPal, we got Zelle, we got Cash App, we got MMG, the local Guyanese platform. We're also available via Western Union, available via MoneyGram as well. The number you want to call or the number you want to message or call for some guidance is our very MMG number. You can WhatsApp that number, 627-6963, 627-6963. We're going to be as responsive as we can to your concerns. You want to partner with us, the number you want to message for some guidance is 627-6963. That's our time until Monday when we start fresh again for the new week. But we're going to be continuing this discussion on our podcast, and I might pull Jarita to be part of that podcast today. But we're going to see you guys over on the podcast at 12 o'clock, in which we consider this whole issue, the big issue that we dealt with this morning, of transparency in government and accountability, going to the people and telling them what you're doing. We don't see a lot of that here, but the Barbadian people are different.
One of the things that I think is necessary for us to do for the people, for the viewing audience out there, is actually to put together on the timeline, as you so nicely and neatly do it, put together that timeline of how the guardrails have been broken down and how transparency has been evaded throughout the course of from August of 2020 to now. And it's very interesting to see everything that was done to actually remove every aspect of transparency from everything. We spoke about even the natural resource fund bill that came to the National Assembly and how they remove every aspect of transparency from there. So definitely, Sharon, you need to get into that a whole lot more. But guys, this is our time. We are over time a little bit, but thank you so much for being with us this morning. And again, you will be joining us for FYI until Monday. However, you'll be joining our affiliate program Below the Belt at 12 noon, and then at 8 p.m. we will all be in the ring joining you. Have a good one.
Stay safe, guys. Stay safe.